right, here we go. Welcome to another episode of What Are You Making? Here we are. Episode 2. Thanks everybody for watching episode 1. Really excited to have a microphone this week and not be talking through some kind of small Bluetooth situation. Hi, I'm Zech. I'm creating the What Are You Making podcast. It's a podcast about money and creativity, and it's only on LinkedIn and YouTube, subtly. I'm going to be joined by artists, copywriters, designers, illustrators, musicians, strategists, CEOs, and all kinds of people that have to create things and also have to make money. We're going to talk about those two topics, but also just what's happening in the industry, what's happening with layoffs, what's happening with AI. I feel like there's a lot of podcasts about those specific topics, but not necessarily about creativity and money together. So here we are. We're going to enjoy it. Again, thanks to everyone that watched episode 1. I got a few likes on that, some comments, some encouragement. Fishboy was a great guest. Somebody texted me, how did you get Ben Folds on the show? Hey, Nancy.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
It's so good to see you.
I think I have that shirt. You should have told me it was black and green check
Well, we're
shirt
wearing
day.
green. That's good enough, right?
Good enough.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. I'm recording the show and I'm figuring it out as I go along. I have a microphone this week, so that's
Nice.
positive.
Professional.
Um, my wife commented on YouTube that this was like a great idea, and I was like, "Thank you. That's very that's very nice of you." I was like, "At least can you use like an alias if you're going to be in the comments saying like, wow, what a novel idea." Um,
Have you gotten your mom to tell you it's great as well?
no, all my family doesn't know about this, and I mean, it's not on purpose. It's just I'm not really trying to make this, and I know this sounds like, oh, you're just like setting yourself up to fail or something, but I'm not really trying to make it a thing or something, you know? Like I don't want to make it a brand where it's like somebody was like, you should cut the episodes up into like 50 parts and like post the really interesting parts. And I was like, that sounds like a second job.
Yeah. Yeah. Too much. Too much.
I would rather just talk to people and not overthink it and just see what happens and then also not edit it. I'm not really gonna edit it. Like I had to edit the other one because I ran out of Zoom minutes. I only had 40 Zoom minutes and we went for an hour. But then today I've purchased a Zoom plan, which is new
Oh,
for me. Yeah.
wow. You're like three kinds of professional already.
It's kind of embarrassing, like to pay for Zoom and a microphone. I feel like that's, oh
These
well.
are these are tools that you have. Who knows when they'll come in handy again?
It's true. I used the microphone on a client call and the client was like, "Wow, that's very impressive." Like they're like, "That's a good sound, good sounding audio." And then
I
everybody feels like, yeah.
I should get one. I think sometimes on calls, I'll start speaking and somebody will speak over me, and I can't tell if they're just being like dudes in the world or if I'm speaking quietly. So, with a microphone, I would clarify which problem I'm having.
That's right. Uh, that's right. That's right. It levels the playing field in a way, not in all kinds of ways, but slightly. Well, it's great to see you. Can I introduce you to LinkedIn for anybody who
Yeah,
hasn't met you?
they don't know me.
Okay, so my second guest on the show, I'm really excited to have Nancy Strange. She's a creative director, copywriter, chaos gardener that believes in the power of y'all. She's worked for Goodby, FCB, Instrument. I also worked at Instrument. Shout out Instrument, Publicis, GP. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Lyft as head of copy and an ECD, leading a team known as Team Strange. I love that. And one time she gave Young Thug a face mask, which we're going to talk about, I think.
Yeah.
She believes in leading with empathy, living with curiosity, and trusting the creative process to take us somewhere we never expected to go. Please give it up for Nancy Strange. Cue the applause.
Woo.
So, how are things today? What are things feeling like at the moment before I get into questions and
Yeah.
topics?
Context in all of the introduction, you didn't lead with the thing that's keeping me up at night, which is currently unemployed. So, I've had a good week of people reaching out for interviews, other people being like, "Hey, I don't have any money, but maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do that. Maybe." So, yeah, I think how I'm doing is I spent the past month in a state of extreme anxiety, and I have spent
Mm,
today being like, "Oh, we'll come through this. We'll come through this. This will be fine."
that's right. Absolutely. I feel your pain. I was laid off a couple years ago. It had been a while since I had been unemployed, and it feels like um on the one hand there's a part of your brain that's like I'm a professional. I can do stuff. Like I've done stuff for years. You're like years and you look at the people and the projects and you go all that it's like you line it all up and you're like yeah that feels like I'm good at what I do. And then but then there's this sense there's this like dread this you know I was sleepless too just I was trying to tell my wife like I felt terrible and I would all the time it would just hit me. I would say like grief. Like I recently had some deaths in my family and it's like a wave hits you where you forget about it and then it hits you and you're like, "Oh yeah, I just have to go figure out what I'm doing." And
Yeah.
it's so assaulting on the senses.
Yeah. I would say for me, I mean, I love to take time off, except it happened at a really stressful time. I had just emptied my savings account to put a down payment on a house. So
Mm,
I'm very much like, I just picked up a shift at my friend's shop. That's not going to cover my mortgage payment, but I'm so like, I just need to be hustling. I cannot be focusing all of my energy on networking for advertising because I just have this financial anxiety that's new to me. And
mm.
uh and I find that staying busy helps with it.
Absolutely. I mean, I what I did was the next day, I think I read something about take a week, it was some advice for layoffs. It's like take a couple weeks. This is going to be hard. The next day I was like spreadsheet, everybody contacting that had jobs, like reaching out to people. Hey, can I talk to you for coffee? Like what do you have? And I just became pretty desperate, for just, I was like, I can't just go watch a movie. That's just not
Yeah.
me. I was like, I need to be on LinkedIn for 8 hours. Or something. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God, that's so masochistic. 8 hours. Whew.
Not really, but just the it was like being always on. It was like always tethered to it where I'm checking, I'm checking, I'm checking, and that's my, personal, but it
You
was
know,
like I need hope.
yeah, yeah. What I've done, because I think the last time I was unemployed for an extended period of time, I took that whole look for a job like it's your full-time job advice so seriously, and I drove myself crazy. So this time I'm just setting aside office hours on certain days of the week. And then the rest of the time I'm like, let me be a local tourist. Let me plan to work in the garden. Let me go hang out with, I mean, the job market. I know other people that are unemployed. We can hang out on a weekday. So I'm trying to be, you know, trying not to let it be all consuming, even if it wants to be all consuming.
So thank you for coming and doing this while you're going through that because that is not easy, and I really appreciate that and being vulnerable about this and because I know a lot of people are going through this, and I hope that this video on LinkedIn let's get Nancy hired. In the comments, reach out if you need a creative director, copywriter. Let's go. It's kind of funny, but like LinkedIn actually was the best thing for me ever when I got laid off because I had people that started to reach out like, what do you do? And hey, I might have something for you.
That's nice.
And so I think it was the reach of the post. Like, when you do a layoff post, like, a million people see it because everybody feels sad for you and they're like, oh. And then like one out of every 100 people is like, hey, maybe there's something here. And that turned into a couple jobs for me. So it can
That's
happen.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I don't know, like right now, the market, this was 2 years ago. The market feels different
Yeah.
today. I don't know. But
But shout out to the type of people who read those posts and have something to offer.
it gives you hope in the world. Like
Yeah.
one person said, I never forget this message I got. She's like, I don't know you, but like, I really wish the best for you. I hope you find a job, and I'm sorry this is happening. And it was like a few paragraphs, and I was like, wow, I've never talked to them again. But it just really made a difference to have somebody be like, yeah, this sucks. And a stranger can just reach out. I mean, so there is good in all the slop, the AI banter, all the garbage that's on LinkedIn, the political posts, the like, ugh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot there on LinkedIn.
So let's talk about what you're making creatively right now as an unemployed person who maybe is not wanting to jump into rewriting their bio on their website. Maybe want to get offline. Like, how are you being creative right now?
Well, I mentioned buying a house. I am in stage one of the chaos gardening. I hired a guy locally who does consultations on what you should do with your plants. His business is called Undoing Ruin, and he helps people fight invasive plants
That's awesome.
and nurture like native plants, and he's into all of this stuff. And so I had him come out for a consultation before I lost my job, and he pointed out a lot of things that are invasive. So
Hmm.
um, I'm making plans, but mostly what I'm doing is trying to make a good foundation and pulling invasives out, which is great when you're full of anxiety to just go rip
Hmm.
some vines out of the earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, today I had an interview and I was like, oh, was I too much? Was I too much myself at this stranger who just really wants a writer? And then I went outside and I yanked a whole bunch of vines and pacing the area. I I call gardening the most slow motion visual art, and it's a little bit frustrating that right now my stage one is really prepping the canvas because I want to buy flowers, I just want it to be done. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm in the prepping the canvas area and getting to know the land. And 2 days ago I uncovered a baby snake and
Oh.
and then had to go for a long walk. So yeah, I'm prepping. I've got to start building like to scale. I'm very bad at measuring accurately, but I got to build a scale model of the yard and start working on my plans. So that's what I'm making is one day it'll be a good garden. If you came over and looked at it now, you'd be like, Nancy, this is not a garden.
There's nothing that's better when I don't like yard work, but when I do it and I get my hands dirty and it's done, it makes me feel so good
Yeah.
to take care of a yard. And after a long day, like your back hurts from digging or whatever, like my wife and I just took out some bamboo and we're doing the same thing, trying to figure out what the backyard looks like. Um, but like putting down a pathway or just like any small step when you step back, it just feels like this is the best feeling in life right now. Just
Yeah.
tending to this thing and like getting the crap out and just looking at it. Like I don't know, have you ever done that? You just drive by your house and look at it and
I
just
think
look at the yard.
my favorite part of gardening is just to pull a folding chair out to a random spot in the yard and observe what I just did and be like,
Yeah.
how do I feel about this?
Yes. That's hitting home for me too. Like walking past the house at an angle that you don't usually walk past. Like, I mean, if people will look at you and think like something's going on with
Yeah,
this person.
tasting the
Like
joy.
somebody is I don't know if this guy actually lives here. He's a little creepy the way he's walking around it, staring. But I 100% agree. So, are you kind of winging it? Like, I'm gonna jump in and take on this area, or do you like, are you using like YouTube videos, or how are you doing this?
Um, it's a combination of winging it and other things. One of the things I did when I lived in Portland, when I was freelancing an instrument, is I took a permaculture design class in Portland. So I have like a couple of brain cells around what I'm doing. And then, but then I moved to Virginia and I don't know what these plants are. So one of the things the guy pointed out is a lot of things. He's like, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great. So I've just been mowing in an extremely weird way to let
Hmm.
vigorous natives fill in an area and fight weeds for me. So I'm picking spots where I'm like, okay, I think I can win a small battle here. Um, I think it's prepping the canvas and then also like enlisting the vigorous natives to be like my partners in the war. This guy showed up. He's so great. He's one of those like cuddly punk guys. And he said he was going to use herbicides on some of the invasives. And I said, "Oh, is that okay?" And he's like, "This is a war, Nancy. We need to win the war."
I love that. I just picture like a Rambo situation, and he's like pulls the glasses down and then walks into your yard and says, "I'll take care of this." Like,
But yeah, that's the little bit of chaos about it is I'm just whatever is not invasive is allowed to go buck wild right now while I fight the problems.
right on. So, creating in a physical space, getting off the computer, getting your hands dirty, uh, seeing invasive plants, and then once you see them, it's like seeing them everywhere and telling people about them. Like, did you know this is invasive? Did you know this is invasive? Um, yeah, that resonates. It's like gardening is a new subculture. It's like bands and music where you can probably get into it. I have a friend here who's making an app about being a green thumb and on the side, and I was really into that. I was like, tell me more. So I think this is a thing. Maybe we could start a punk gardening
There,
subculture. There
there,
probably is.
there's already a Facebook group
Okay.
called Punk
There,
Gardening, and
there you
it's
go.
punk gardening and bird watching, which I think means
Oh, okay.
we've just aged into a certain age.
They're like, welcome. You've now
Yeah.
gotten old enough that you realize you need this. Oh man. All right. So, taking a step back to what are you making? I want to say what are you making creatively, and then what are you making money wise? We talked
Yeah.
about unemployment, but maybe I think there's a space here to talk about maybe negotiating or, money at a job. Um, what's your relationship with money and salary at a job? Did you just kind of jump in and go, I'll take this gig and then roll with it? Did you get hardcore about it? Like as much as you're comfortable talking about it.
Yeah. I think wow, this is like really kind of rich. So TMI, I grew up under the poverty level. So early in my career, people would say numbers and I'd be like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. Whereas probably other people were like, maybe can I get a little extra? So I think
Hmm.
I'm old enough now and looking back and saying, like, oh, if you start from a position of not negotiating, and I just want everyone who's young to know this, so listen up. If you start from a position of not negotiating, that compounds over time. So, one thing I didn't have the skills to do then that I'm pretty shameless about now is no matter what people say, just ask for something more.
Hmm.
Just do it. I think
Hmm.
it's uncomfortable, especially if you were raised as a Southern woman in a religious family, to be seen and not heard, to say anything other than "thank you very much for the job offer. I really want that." Um, to say, that's an interesting offer. What about
Hmm.
if we made the offer better for me? So when I was at Instrument, a woman I'm still friends with was younger than me, and she told me what she was charging by the hour, and I said, "Oh no, that is not okay. We're gonna go out after work. We're gonna practice saying larger and larger numbers to each other until you can do it
I
with
love
a
that.
straight face." And like we got there, and
Practice.
I was like, okay. first beer, I want you to say my rate is $65 an hour. And she just laughed before she could get it out of her mouth. And I'm like, no, I would pay you that. Like, say it. And so I
Mm,
do think that, you know, I don't know, I hate to say especially women. I think a lot of men need this skill too, but I think
mhm,
culturally we're not taught to be competitive in that way. And I do think it's great for especially women who've done it a few times to teach other women, like say a bigger number, say it with a straight face, say it with an edge. I
mm,
think that
mhm.
it was Cindy Gallup who said you need to name the biggest number you can name with a straight face. And I think that changed my life.
Oh my gosh, it's so correct. And especially, I think you're right, especially women. And, this happened to me, I won't say where, but a good friend of mine was sitting across the table from one of the owners of the business. And he was talking about the pay ranges for a position. And he said, here's the pay ranges. And the lowest number was much more than my friend was making. And then the guy said, and that's for the next position. Problem is, my friend was already that position. So he
Yeah.
just revealed what he was supposed to be making at the lowest end was higher. So he just said that. He said, well, actually, that's my position. So can you bring me up to the lowest part of the pay band? That seems like a no-brainer, right? You just revealed it. Sorry, but like now I know. So he's honestly saying, "Can you pay me the lowest level for what you'd bring anyone in?" And the guy was like, "Let me get back to you." So, and he didn't end up doing it. He didn't end up bumping his salary. So you're right. I think there's a lot of men too where it's like intimidating. You don't want to do the wrong thing. It feels icky, the whole topic. It's like, "What are you worth?" And then you're saying, "That's not enough. That's not something you're raised to do." And then um yeah, the coaching part of just like say it out loud. The only way
Yeah.
you're going to do this is if you speak it out loud, or else it's not going to work. And you can't laugh and you can't, and
Yeah, you can't twitch. You can
you
be
can't
like, here's what I'm
twitch.
worth. This is my rate.
You can't twitch, and like don't give them a number when you're coming in. Don't give them the number first.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and
I'm not gonna say where I was. I was at a place once where I was hiring a direct report and they put together his offer letter and they're like, Nancy, look, review this person's offer letter. This is a male person. And I reviewed it and I said, that's funny. He's a level below me and that's my salary.
mm,
Um, so it took me a minute, but I ended up getting kind of a hefty bump out of the conversation I had with people because I think A, there's the leveling, and B, I
mhm,
was like, so this person is a male and you're going to bring him in for the salary of the person who he's going to report to. That doesn't look cool. And I think, that one I didn't have to play it straight. I just was like, I'm going to be a little emotional here. I'm going to say, is this really, really what y'all stand for?
mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing. I remember one guy they brought in was making more than everybody. I knew his salary, his bonus, I think his bonus was more than my salary, or maybe his bonus was, I don't know. It was so big that it was like a universe expanding moment. It's like when you go to San Francisco and you see the salaries that people
Yeah,
make that are bottom level in San Francisco, like starting at 200K or whatever,
yeah,
so they can just make it or whatever it is, at some of these startups and some of these companies. And you just go, "Oh, like I was worried about like this tiny amount of money in comparison to, it's kind of like what the CEO makes.
yeah.
Money is just like it's like so fake." I have a friend that always tells me that. He's like, "It's just all made up." Like people go because I was talking about how uh, somebody I know was paid quite a bit of money and didn't really do very much and nothing was used. And they were like, yeah, at this big tech company I work with, we just paid this woman this much, and she didn't end up doing anything, and that's what happens every day. Sometimes the projects fail or it doesn't happen, but they still get this fee. And you're just like, oh, so there's this whole other conversation. There's a whole other, it's like you're at the restaurant on this floor, and there's another floor where uh, they're having conversations that you wouldn't believe. And because they're, your network is your net worth, right? Their network is talking about, oh no, you come in and baseline this right here. And then everyone gets to know the insider speak and how to negotiate.
Yeah, it's wild. You can also negotiate a severance just for people out there who might be
Okay.
it doesn't always work, but
Hmm.
I've been in a situation where I said, okay, can I also get I mean, they were already letting me go. What did I have to lose, right? So,
Great point.
um, I think look into that, look into what other people in your position. I think it's also good, no matter how stable you feel, to talk to other people who've been let go about how that happened financially. I remember speaking
Mm.
with a woman who told me she negotiated as part of her hiring package what her severance would be if it ever came to that. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh,
Wow.
oh,
That's
you
pro.
can do that?
That's ultimate pro. That's like the kill fee when you have that conversation about kill
Yeah.
fees. Like, wait, so if it doesn't happen, you just get this and you can just
Yeah.
ask for that?
If we find that it doesn't work out, here's what I would like at the end.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, just talk to people about money. It's real uncomfortable, but um I don't know. I have never personally heard of anyone losing out on an offer for negotiating.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a great point because they already want you.
Yeah.
And the worst that it seems like the worst they could say is, no, we're not going to do that. This is the final one,
Yeah.
you know?
Like,
And
oh,
if,
we can't do it.
sure. I mean, if you come in with the attitude of like somebody else is offering more and I'm going to go over there. I have friends that do that and that's interesting, but it's also like it's also like, oh, so there's two people now and you're making them fight and then that just feels even grosser to me, but it
Yeah.
works for people. It works.
I think I have heard of that backfiring. Them being
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, well, we have another strong candidate. You should take
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that can go either way. I have heard of that happening. But I mean, I've been really transparent before, like, hey, I've got an offer. You're my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And uh and I think that's gotten me speed, if not more money, speed on the hiring decision.
Nice. I had one of the companies I worked with gave me a really quick ultimatum on the second time we talked, and it was like we need to know like kind of tonight or tomorrow or something. And I've been incorporating that in my business for 2 years now, where if there's something that's not happening, I'll just be like, "Hey, I need to know tonight," or whatever. Like I put it into terms of extremes like that, like it's got to be by Wednesday and or blah blah blah. And then it always gets immediate response, whereas other times it's like a week later, someone's like, "Yeah, we'll get back to you."
Yeah. I feel really weird about jobs that saying we need a decision right away. Like it starts to remind me of all those watch outs about scams. Like if there's a sense of urgency for no reason, it might be a scam.
That's right.
Um, So yeah, like I need I need time to like weed my garden about it before I can come
Mm.
back to you with an answer.
Yes, there's people in the comments of the last of my post about AI, which is just like bait. I mean, everybody just responds and just wants to hear the sound of their voice in the comments. But a couple people were just like, I just want slow life and just not. I don't really want to do any of this, and I want to slow down and be away from this. And it's like that's very refreshing to think about. Um,
Mhm. I
yeah.
mean, that is absolutely the foreseeable like response to AI is a trend in which we value slowness and craft where we never thought about it before, or we value handmade and we value rough edges and we value like real just signs that like this is it takes time and it's imperfect. And I really do think it can't happen soon enough for me, of course. But at some point in the next couple of years, what's really, really going to be valuable is being able to tell something wasn't made with AI.
Yes, I have a client right now that's like, let's not use M dashes or certain things. And my first response was going to be, no, the M dash is mine. I love it. I treasure
I
it.
love it. Yeah.
You can have the Oxford comma. I don't like the Oxford comma. A lot of people do, but I don't care about the AI fingerprinting thing. Like, is it good? Is it good words? Then it's good. But they're worried about that. So I just like pick my battles and I go, yeah, all right, we'll take the M dashes out. But I'm sort of grinding my teeth. Like, I don't like responding to
Yeah.
that, you know?
I think the more I pay attention, I think Chat GPT in particular, I haven't messed with the other ones, overuses the M dash, uses it in places where a comma or a sentence break would work. I think if I use an M dash in my writing, it's because I'm writing a really, really bitchy aside. Like you can tell AI didn't write whatever I'm writing after an M dash. But I think also I noticed they don't use AP style on their M dashes. I've been nerding out because I
Hmm.
do love an M dash. And so I've been looking and being like, what are the tells though that it's an AI M dash versus a passionate writer who refuses to go out without a fight. And I think it's like just using it interchangeably as if it might be a dramatic comma is the
Hmm.
tell that
Mm.
where I'm like, ugh, I hate it. So I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I am interested in people telling me I'm wrong about it because admittedly I don't fuck around with AI very much.
Yeah,
If you,
I asked chat what the fingerprints were, and it was like, it's just weird that its own interface is telling me, oh yeah, there's these fingerprints that are known, and too many colons, too many semicolons, which I don't really see that. But to me, it's like it's all about the headlines. Like you can live and die by your headlines, and the AI headlines are like, what are we talking about? What is this? You know, like it's just so far gone that you it would take your pinky to rewrite that better. And so, I just yeah, let's just keep pushing back. I mean, it's still a tool we can use. Obviously, I'm not anti AI. I don't like not use it. But this idea that it's going to replace creativity, these guys who are like, ideas are cheaper than ever. It's like, no, compute is cheaper than ever. Typing something into a system to get a response is cheaper than ever. And use, intelligence to think. It's not thinking. Uh, that's cheap. Show me the good idea. Tell me when you find a good idea. And we see it every day with these videos. Like the latest video just came out today, Sora, and it's like there's an anime thing and there's a Hamilton thing. It's like, oh, so parroting Hamilton was your idea. AI's original idea was to steal from something that was popular 5 years ago,
yeah.
and which, we're already talking about copyright and everything else. And I don't know how Lin-Manuel Miranda makes you feel, but just all that and go, hey, isn't this good? It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It's I think I'm trying to say something nice about AI now. Is that a sign of my own
Say three nice things about AI.
is that a sign of my own brain rot? It's pretty great as a thesaurus. If you're like, I want to make a
Hmm.
country and western joke out of this piece of writing, you can
Hmm.
get a couple of different, oh, okay, those are some good synonyms. Maybe I'll rewrite. But I already know what I want by the time AI can help me. And it's really just like, I've been beating my head against the wall. I'm stuck. I feel like it's flat here. And half of the time, maybe AI doesn't fix it for me, but it's all something that I hate so much that I rewrite it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, now I like my writing.
That's a good point. It's so bad that it makes you feel good as a writer. I never thought about
Like,
that.
I'll just fix this, and then I'll be like, this is now good writing.
I mean, fall into savings is good writing compared to what AI is telling you. I'm trying to think of what it just told me to do. I was trying to write headlines for something and it was so funny. It was about like timber, this Arbor Day sale is 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 savings falling into your lap or something. It was just like four or five things that made no sense. But the right person would be like, pretty good. Like the right level of company out there that's just like we got to fill the subject line of the email. And I think that's what AI is good for. It's really
You
for the
get
person who's going, it says lorem ipsum now. Can it say something else? Yes, it can. It can say these 50 characters. And they go, oh, this is English. It works. Cool. Thank you. Okay. We don't have to talk about AI. I
it.
didn't even mean to bring that up, but I'm glad because people might watch that part. Okay. So, why don't we talk about Lyft and I want to talk about your career there because you had a couple positions. There's a lot that you wrote about it on LinkedIn, so I imagine there's a deep experience there. And also, I just love that you like the copy director. I think that role is really cool. At Work and Co, we had writing directors. At Instrument, we had writing. I think we had writing directors. What did that mean at Lyft? And like, I guess take us on your journey at Lyft because I think
Yeah.
a lot of people love Lyft and it's a big company, obviously.
Um, when I was hired, the we called the role head of brand voice. Of course, the system with the levels is like, okay, you're a copy director. But the woman who hired me, Karin Onsigerbert, she had been the CCO at FCB West when I was there. We really loved working together. I moved to Portland. I left her. I freelanced with her off and on. And when she got the job at VP Creative at Lyft, you know, it was during COVID. And I think Lyft's writing at the time, it was very much like, wear your mask, be nice to your driver. It's all the things that you
Mhm.
needed to say. The government was saying, say these things. Um, and I think it was very reactionary. And Karen was like, I need someone like you, and I think someone like me is someone who will write something absolutely batshit insane and put it in front of her. She's like, I just need someone like you to figure out how to bring the brand's voice back into this particular juncture. And then, we needed to refresh the brand guidelines and the brand editorial guidelines. So at first it was very much head of brand voice. And I was working directly with her and the head of marketing and the co-founder on, like what does this brand sound like? What is the personality? What is the meaning of it? And so um I just told the story earlier today, but I walked in and I was like, the first thing we have to do is just fix this COVID page. And I think I wrote a headline that like health and safety go hand in sanitized hand. I'm like, just
Mhm. So
bring
good.
yeah, like just have a little something
A
unexpected in
little
there. Here,
spicy.
here and there, add a little spice. We can say what the government requires us to say. We can protect our drivers. We can reassure our riders, and we can also have a little wink. So for a while there, like the Lyft wink was a thing that we talked about, and we're like, what's too much wink? The John Zimmer, the co-founder, was like, if somebody winks at you more than once or twice, you can tell they're a creep. So like ease up on the wink. So,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time like, what is the exact percentage of wink we're allowed to wink? And
The
so
wink
that,
scale. Yeah.
yeah, on a scale of spicy to get me away from this guy,
Yeah.
where's our wink? So the first part was really fun because it was really getting into like what is the heart of this brand and how does the heart of this brand come through in this button we're gonna click.
Mhm.
And after we got like brand guidelines rolled out, it really things, evolved and I really got more into the work after that. And we made the Young Thug stuff and we made the, you know, I think How to Human Again was already in progress when I joined, so I joined that production and I loved that stuff. Just people being awkward in public because it was so true. Um, and yeah, so after that, once the brand guidelines were approved and everything, that's when I really started, I think, acting like copy director because I would do road shows of the brand guidelines and I would
Hmm.
have office hours and talk to people. And there were people on, I would do like hands-on workshops with people who were like customer service, trying to be like, hey, our customer service voice sounds very like you're reading a script, which I know you are. So let's just do a workshop. Like, how are some different ways we could say, acknowledge receipt of your message? Like
Hmm. Hmm.
whatever auto
Correct.
response we have to pop off. How does that sound like, okay, A, we're taking you seriously. B, we're not robots.
Right.
Even though this is a robot sending the first response.
So you were kind of working on web stuff, the app, like email, the whole, basically everywhere copy kind of showed up, or was it just
That
product?
No, that was my vision was to create like this voice where it was through a through line.
Through
So,
everything. Nice.
um, the writers for on product content, they called them content designers. They shifted from UX writers to content designers during the time I was there. Um, Completely different department. And so we would just meet once or twice a month and talk about things that were going on and be like, what do you guys think about this? And just that part was very much like keeping communication channels open and relationshiping and being like, yeah, we don't have a direct line on what you're writing, but let's talk enough so that for our customers, they're not getting the feeling that this was written by somebody and this was written by somebody else. So
Mhm.
we did that really like informally.
So ideally, do you feel like that form would take hold at, or could be used by any large company like that? Like there's almost a head of brand voice at anyone who has an app that interacts with people in a human way. Like, do all companies kind of need that, or I don't know, after working there, what worked and what didn't about that?
I mean, I'm gonna get fixated in the word do all company need that. I think
Yeah.
I've been at other companies and other companies are like, we just want to juice the growth
Uh-huh.
machine and get X sales. And if that's their metric of success,
Hmm. ARPU.
they yeah, they don't need me. They don't need brand voice cohesion. Like if your metric of success is we gotta send out this push notification and get X number of whatever. Um, I, if they're not
Maybe
like,
not.
oh, we want
Yeah.
we want brand love and we want customers who feel like they're having a consistent experience. If that's not a value, then those people don't need or want anyone like me, but I think
Hmm.
as a person that doesn't own a business, I think you have greater long-term success if
Hmm.
people have this sort of consistent experience and I think maybe the term brand love is bullshit, but just not like irritating the shit out of people, I think is the bar I'm willing to just say like, oh, that's a brand that never irritates the shit out of me. I'm gonna buy from that brand again. Um,
Yes.
Yeah, like what brands do I love? I don't know. Just brands that don't irritate the shit out of me.
I love brands that take risks with how they're not how they're reaching out to me with like too many messages, but with uh I don't know, in any and just being different than everybody else. I mean, the way that you talked about the COVID page, it
Yeah.
would be such a delight as a person who had to read something like that to be like, oh, they didn't have to do that. And I think that's a lot of our job as copywriters looking for those opportunities. But I think what you found with Lyft is somebody who agreed with you, which I think is what you're saying, which is there's people who agree that those extra touches are important. And then there's most companies who are like, yeah, that's nice. I don't even know if I read that or if like actually just make it like let's just say like uh, you know, government mandated page at the top. That's fine. things like that.
I know. And my dream at Lyft, which we never had the time or the people to do, but my dream was like, if there's an asterisk in an email, your footnote, maybe it'll be like valid until 114 or,
Hmm.
the Loch Ness monster is proven to be real, whichever comes first. Like I
Yeah.
never could get the like make the terms and conditions worth reading part, but
Yes.
that's my dream is just like literally everything you put out should people should be like, oh, I'm gonna read that too because there's a
Mm.
little something there.
Do you think that we're like this because I know that you're really in the music scene and I was too, like m music was really important. Do you think the devouring of music in that way made us long for brands to do that same thing? Where the way an album comes out and you just read everything in it, you find the little things and you go, the band cares about all this.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then you look around and you're like, every product sucks and doesn't do that. Do you think we just like projected our music subculture love onto corporate business? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, music or just craft. It's just
Hmm.
craft, like
Hmm.
my husband is an illustrator and he uses these little tiny frickin' brushes to make really like toot, toot, toot.
Hmm.
And he's just like if there's a mistake, no one else in the whole world will know, but
Right.
he'll be like, it's ruined. And
You're right.
I think like there's just craft and there's people who give a shit about craft. Like one time I had a little breakdown I was at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts and they had, I forget, this guy made big wooden sculptures and I was in this museum and I was just getting so mad because I was like, there's so many objects in my life that are poorly crafted and this is
Mm.
beautiful craftsmanship and I want
Hmm.
everything to be beautifully crafted. And I was like, who am I mad at? Am I mad at art? Am I mad at art for showing me what I don't have? Or am I mad at the world for not being art? And why am I freaking out? But I think people who care about craftsmanship care. You can't just be like craftsmanship 75% and then I don't,
Hmm.
I don't care what the bottom of the page sounds like. You can't,
Hmm.
you're either a craftsperson or you're not. And I think
Hmm.
that could be music, that could be being a copy director, it could be visual arts, it could be plumbers, Like for some reason I took a deep dive on the plumbing Reddit and some people really, really care about what is going on behind your drywall, and other people don't so much.
That's apparent in some of these modern houses. So I love that. I think you're right. Craft is really everything, and I think that's another thing that's so not to bring up AI again, but that's so repulsive about AI is there's no craft, and then the companies who are spending bajillions of dollars on the future are not doing so for craft reasons,
Yeah.
but for a hope that everything will get more mediocre, like this Facebook new feed of AI slop that's coming out. It's like, yes, you made or this new actress who's an AI actress who's been signed to a talent agency or something. I don't know if you heard about her, but it's like, yes, that's a unique thing that's happening, but what about a real person doing it, or what about shooting it for real? And maybe this will all create a reaction in the kids to go be Michelle Gondry and do something like really wacky and different because they're like, yeah, all that stuff is too polished and it sucks and it looks the same. So maybe we have to embrace this in order to go back to being people that care about craft again.
I have to hope that there's a little baby punk movement just bubbling, ready to be born as
Hmm.
a reaction to how just it's bland. We're blandifying the world.
Hmm.
Like
Grage.
it's so, and I don't think people will be able to take it very much
Hmm.
longer.
Hmm.
So maybe it'll be great for music.
Maybe so. We're getting tight on time.
Oh
Um,
shit, we
no,
haven't
it's
talked about
great. I mean, there isn't really a time limit, but I'm just
Yeah.
like I talked to Fishboy for an hour, and that's really because I ran out of Zoom minutes, and I want to honor your time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I want to talk about maybe two or three or four more things, if that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have a second.
You, you can cut out whatever's boring later.
I mean, I'm just it's That takes too much work to cut the show
Oh,
to cut it into. I'm just like, you get what you get. The way I think of it is like I'll have CNBC on and two pundits will talk about a stock for 40 minutes and it's like I think we could use more creative 40-minute chats where some of it's about nothing. That's okay. Like not
yeah.
everything has to be. Another thing about craft is like just breathing. It's like the TikTok. I know I'll never get TikTok, but as soon as I load a TikTok or I see TikTok, it's like everything's just like as like polished and short as can be, which is an interesting brief, but like it's not a way I want to exist in the world. It's not a way I want. It's not anything I want to be exposed to.
Yeah. I want waterfall talk.
Yeah,
Like if
TikTok
I'm gonna,
waterfalls. I like
yeah,
that.
if I'm gonna get something after something after something, I just want it just only waterfalls.
I was thinking about this last night when my phone died. Do we need the batteries to last for days? Like, isn't it good the battery dies and says you can't have more phone?
Yeah, no more phone today.
I dread what's going to happen with the batteries that are like never go out because I don't think it's going to be good for the sleep of the nation and everything else, the sleep of the world. All right, this is way off topic. So let me get back on. You talked about specialists versus generalists as a point, and I really want to talk about that for writers because I think at Working Co, I was a UX writer. I just worked on product. I always wanted to influence the brand outside as well and bring some of the brand into the product. But a lot of times, there's this very specific goal. It's 1 + 1 is 2. Get to the point. Don't color it too much. That's actually not the wrong way to go. Blah, blah, blah. So in the future, like where do you see that going for maybe a student who's in college or even someone mid-career who's like, I've always been this title. There's a change coming. What do I do? Like, what do you think about that?
I think I think unfortunately there's not a right answer. I think as a person that hires writers, I know there are times when I want a specialist and then there are times when I want a generalist. As far as how to build your career, I think I think specializing early is smart, and the older you get in your career, not physically older, but the more you advance, I think you can't advance too far unless you're the best specialist of all special. If you're Michelle Gondry, specialize. But for example, I think early in my career, everybody's like, "Oh, she's digital, she's social," and
Hmm.
that was fine. And after a couple of years of that, though, I was like, "But I want to know how to write a TV script." And so
Hmm.
I just sort of like started over and was like, I want to do this. And so
Hmm.
I'm bad at it for now and I don't have a mentor in it, but I'm gonna read scripts that are left over in the printer and I'm
Hmm.
gonna pay attention and one of the things I say to students a lot. I'm like, just transcribe a commercial. Like, get to know what
Hmm.
30 seconds is. Like,
Yeah.
oh, after a few years, you know what 30 seconds is. But if you've never done it before, how do you learn that internal, like,
That's
where
right.
does the joke need to land? Where does the time, can I, like,
Yes.
after a few years of doing it, you'll be like, boom, boom, that's 15 seconds. Here's the punchline. We've got plenty of time for the beauty product shot, but you have to like internalize that and get the pacing. And then,
Yes.
after that, I was like, no, I really want to be integrated. I really want to learn about. So for me, I sort of like specialized, started at the bottom, specialized, started at the bottom until I became sort of a generalist. And I think once you land at crotchety old lady era of your creative career, being able to flex in a lot of ways is really valuable. So being able to
Hmm.
say, you know what, I can I can talk to product guys who are
Hmm.
really, really annoyed that I want them to rewrite their flow for a campaign. And we
Hmm.
can connect. I have that skill. I can be like, oh my God, I know I'm such a pain in the ass, but talk to me about how you think my idea might evolve, what you might be able to do. Like
Yep.
having that as well as being able to like instinctively be like, oh, that's too long for a six. What if we I think serves more once you get to where you're like boop boop giving feedback, managing relationships, looking at the forest and the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I do recommend, especially when you're young, working on your craft, like if there's something you love the most, specialize in it because just get good, get to where you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if that starts to be boring, pick the next thing. But I do think it's limiting at a certain point if you want to be like a freelancer to just be like, whenever you want something that's exactly this, I'm your person. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I feel like I just rambled, but what do you think about being a specialist versus a generalist?
I mean, when I think about the phrase UX writer in a day like today, I'm like, it sounds a lot like me. It sounds a lot like guy who gets the donkey out and goes and gets the water at the well and brings it back like on the donkey to the village. Like it feels so replaceable by all the tools and flows. I mean, and I don't say that with any pride because it is important to have an app make sense. But you have people who are launching things in days, weeks, minutes and saying we'll figure this out later, which was I think that was always the case. Like let's get an MVP, let's get whatever, and we'll figure it out. But figure it out is like it's gone beyond understandability, legality, compliance. It's literally like, um, what? What does this app do? And it's like, oh, this doesn't make sense, and we'll just fix that in 5 seconds, and this guy can do it, and he's actually like he's a lawyer. He was a lawyer at Harvard Law School, and now he's like working on the app, and yeah, he can figure it out. I mean, it's like coming in a room and saying like I do cryptography, oh, that's awesome, like we need you for the war, but like I don't know, like how do we apply that? So I told my friend who was asking me that question, like I don't think you can say I'm a UX writer or you can say like I do this very specific thing, this specialist thing. I agree with you. I think knowing how to do something like plumbing extremely well, like having it's almost like you have to get a trade. Like the 30 seconds, like Whiting Kennedy was perfect in the trades. They were the 30-second master. Like they had a perfect 10 at making ads that were emotional, beautiful, moved you. But when it came to making a website or came to making all the other stuff and the social, like when I was in school there, they were like, we need to figure this out. Like we need to figure out social and digital and what we do because what's not really what we do. And
Yeah.
now, of course, every agency's like, we do everything and we do ad buying and we do. So I think, I feel like it's got to be generalist, but it's hard for newer people because like I find the way I use generalist is I was hired, for example, this most recent client writing copy for actually helping them come up with their brand voice and then writing some examples. But then when I'm working with them, I'm tapping into my past of like, you all need a tagline, I think, for that kind of makes your business feel exciting. You need to have things you believe in that you write out, like stuff that's not new. Just
Yeah.
stuff that like I remember works and I tell them to do it and they're just like so excited. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we could have a short line on our website that says what we do and we can, I'm like, and you need to put it on a tote bag and you need to like put it on a poster. And it's like all stuff that I used to do and I've always done, but it feels fresh and new for people because they don't have people that have cared about the craft, that have put that work in, that have said, let's do a video that announces the new voice and do a manifesto and do all the things for
Yeah.
for companies to get them excited. Like that's generalist behavior. Generalist behavior is like we'll make an ad, and we'll combine it all, and they don't know how to use it, right? They don't necessarily know how to use it, but that's what you're there for. You can tell
Yeah.
them, put this on social media, put this on, do you have a TikTok? Get a and it's like low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Um, So,
Yeah. I
but the
think
kid, yeah, go ahead.
this might be why people start calling themselves storytellers on TikTok, on LinkedIn. I'm a storyteller
Yeah.
from the first tap of the app all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea behind storytelling because it is true. Like I love the show Pawn Stars, and it's true that like you can bring an object in, and when an expert tells you the history of that object and the story behind it, it's valuable. And if it's a fake, it's not valuable. I like that part of storytelling, but everything else that people use to inflate their egos and like blow up the value of the company because it's like, I don't know, the WeWork guy who's like, we're not just gonna, do WeWork. We're gonna do We School and we work out and we shower and just like they tried to do everything for the world and it was like it's all a we world. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this guy is just good at standing on a soapbox and getting people riled up and getting money. And those are good things
Yeah.
when you have a business. But like, is anybody gonna say no? Like, let's not do we shower? Like that's not a good idea. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe my new specialty could be just saying no to like really, really rich people who think they have a great idea. Do you think I could get hired doing that?
It is really funny when someone that's wealthy and or famous says, "Let me tell you my idea," and it's the dumbest idea you've
Yeah.
ever heard, and you just kind of go, "Oh, okay."
See, that's when their team could hire me and I could come in and I could be like, no, no, don't do that.
It's so sad because it's like with a good idea, you have all the resources in the world to do something really great, and you're telling me something that's like it's like you wrote it in the middle of the night, you had a thought and you wrote it on a piece of paper next to the bedside, and then you woke up and then you looked at it and it says like an idea that makes zero sense. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Like that's where we're at with this idea.
I mean, I feel bad for people who don't have people saying no to their idea because creativity is problem solving. Like I
Right.
think you need some degree of adversity, negative feedback,
Yes.
obstacle in order to
Yes.
like keep being good. So I mean
Yes.
I feel bad if you're so famous, everybody's just gonna be like, "Oh, that's interesting idea."
It's
Okay,
true.
if people are watching, if you have a celebrity that needs to be told no,
Yeah.
that's my new specialty. I'm just starting out, but I'm gonna get great at it.
I saw that on LinkedIn. It was like, for $10, I'll get in the comments and tell your boss, this idea sucks, and you don't have to be connected to me. I'm just a stranger who just comes in and says what you can't say.
I love that.
All right, a couple more topics. Let's talk about finding your voice as a writer, staying true to your voice. I mean, that kind of goes along with what we were just saying with being honest and also being yourself and embracing where you come from. We kind of talked a little bit about that, but what are your thoughts on that in this age of sort of the great blanding, for lack of you said blandifying the world. It's a great way to put it. Like, how do you maintain your voice and find it, I guess, as well.
I mean, I think it's like be, in two words, be messy. Like I was just telling somebody a story about the time we were pitching Clorox. They own the Ranch brand, and I was like, I don't, what are my feelings? So I wrote something like six manifestos, and I distinctly recall one of them was anti-double dipping. The other one was, if you're not double dipping, do you truly love your friends? Like, and so I think a lot of times, like, and maybe this is because I believe in the craft of writing and the process of writing. A lot of times, if you're like, I feel like my voice is lost, you just have to write. You just have to write.
Mm,
And sometimes for me, like if I feel like especially lost, I'll write what I've been told to write until I'm so fucking mad.
mhm.
Somebody told me once, I believe there's nothing you can't get mad enough to accomplish. And I was like, that's a strange compliment, but I will take it. So yeah, like I think for me, I've always had to write until I'm very clear what I believe. Um, and then I think there's the other part about finding your voice like in the room. I think I
Mhm.
didn't really have mentors at the early part of my career, so I was a little more tentative in the room, and I was a little less likely to speak up and say something weird.
Mhm.
And I think I I would just say if I can mentor the internet right now, just make a deal with yourself that you'll say one weird thing per week in
Mhm.
front of coworkers because I do think especially as creatives, like I think we try to say weird stuff and we try to put weird shit in our scripts, but then like we have these weird thoughts in meetings where we're sort of like, oh well, what
I
if,
shouldn't say that. Mhm.
yeah, what if we turned the boat upside down in the river? What if?
Mhm.
People would be
Mhm.
like, that's a bad idea. I'm just having ideas. I don't know. I think building that muscle though for being like, I just said this thing
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure nobody else is gonna like it. And until one day you just are like, I'm known for showing up and saying what's on my mind. And but it's a skill you have to build like everything else. Like don't just quietly giggle at your weird idea. What if we turned it all upside down? Um, Say it out loud. Let everybody look at you like, why are you speaking? Until that doesn't feel weird anymore. Until you're just like, I'm just gonna say it. And that's
Mhm.
really like showing up where and just saying things is like a lot of times that's where the good shit happens. But you
Mhm.
have to be willing to biff it 99% of the time to make that magic happen.
Yeah, I think CEOs, they take it upon themselves to do that a lot. They'll sit down and they feel like they need to say something bold, and a lot of times it's like, why did you say that? And people forgive them because we work for them, but they are allowed and empowered to say ridiculous things. This guy, the latest one I posted on LinkedIn was this guy that was like, starting today, we're AI native, AI everything. Everybody's AI everything. Whatever you're doing, make it AI. And it was just like very, I mean, he went all in on the dumbest letter I've read recently that made zero sense and probably added more complexity and confusion than, and I don't even work for him, and I was mad.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that he's a CEO who will post a letter he sent to his team on the internet and say, it's pretty weird. I'm going there, and so because he's gonna get a response, and maybe he walks it back. But I like that example of like, yeah, get feedback. I like that example of like, now we tried that. We know that's not a thing, and let's try something else. But I think you're right. I think everybody around these people, these leaders, are like, I can't say my bad idea. I can't say my weird thing. But if you're used to it, it's almost like I can't not say it, because everyone's they're like, Nancy, do you have a thought on this? Like, how are we gonna do this trade show booth?
Yeah, you're at least good for a laugh until one day everybody's like, actually, that's a really great idea. We should do that.
Well, I feel it all the time. Like today, just suggesting the tote bag thing. I said the tote bag thing. It's a trope in the design world to put it on a tote bag. But for somebody who has never heard it before,
Yeah.
it's the weird thing. It's like, oh, I could see us putting, yeah, that's cool. Let's do that. And then another lady said, or a luggage tag. And I was like, okay. Yes, I haven't seen a luggage tag with a manifesto on it before, but that's interesting. And I love where we're going with this, which is like let's
Say
all
more.
take leaps together into the unknown, and because someone out there is going to be really excited for a branded luggage tag, and I want to make their day, and I want to make that happen for them because you and I know once you make a sticker or something, a
Yeah.
band, or once you make it does something. And empower
Yeah.
everybody goes, "Oh, this is awesome. This is the thing." Right?
We we did make luggage tags for Lyft
Did you
that
really? Well, that makes
yeah,
sense. That makes
that
sense.
yeah, because it was like, oh, use the QR code on this like we put them on and people would get their luggage and it would be like a ride code on one
I love
side.
that. That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, tell that lady to keep riffing. She's onto something for someone.
Yeah, their industry doesn't involve travel in any way, so I was taken aback slightly, but I really appreciated it as I never thought of taking over that space before in the world. So that's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Last but not least, mental health of copywriters. Like, I think copywriters are maybe a type of person. I mean, we're very, okay, I'm gonna just describe myself because I don't want to describe everybody, but like introverted, very opinionated, anxious with anxiety and unsure. Also too bold and confident at points where it's scary and people are like, okay, he's on one. He's off on one. Um, just unwilling to send an email, but doing a podcast to the world with people with and just being like, yeah, just post it. I mean, who cares? Um, that's me. I mean, for you, but I think mentally, like I think we kind of talked about it with layoffs. It's like but also need of support, need a copywriter Slack group to reassure him, which I don't have, but would be awesome. But just
yeah, make one.
like, circle of copywriters who understand, who can offer and mentors too.
Yeah.
That those are things I think of. Well, talk to me about that for you.
Um, I like your Slack idea. We could finesse each other's jokes all day. Um, uh, I remember being at an ad agency crying in the bathroom. The CCO, of course, is also a woman. She walks in, and we were talking about it later. Like at the time, she's like, "Why don't you like go home, have a beat?" And later she was like, Nancy, you're so hard on yourself for getting so emotionally overwhelmed, but that is what
Mm,
makes you a good writer. The
mm,
fact that you can
yes.
feel so deeply and be so present in your
Yes.
feelings is where a lot of this shit comes from. And I was like
Yes.
crying again while we were having this
You're like,
conversation.
thank you for not stopping when I'm trying to stop, but okay.
I mean, I ended up not to be make light of my own situation. I ended up taking short-term leave from that job,
Mm,
and uh, I was diagnosed as having complex PTSD. Like I had real shit going
mm,
on, but I was supported by the agency I was at the time, which was amazing. Um, and and for whatever reason, they were like, actually, your mental health struggles are part of your value. So like make yourself well
wow.
and come back and be like, this is a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something you have to be like, oh, I'm better. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a part of you and what you work with. And I think a lot of people don't have that blessing, but I would like to say to folks who struggle with this stuff, like that is part of finding your own voice because you're not the only one. And, you know, um, and there's a lot of material there. Like it's not all material. I have a really obnoxious habit of posting my gratitude journal on Facebook, and the best written ones are from when I'm really fucking struggling. When I'm just like,
Yeah.
I I gotta come up with 3 new things today that I'm grateful for, and I'm in a real dark place.
Mm,
And that, like forcing it out, frankly, oddly enough, sort of revived my love of writing at a time when I was super down.
mm,
So I would say if you have a mental health struggle, A, get help, B, build community, and C, writing is a powerful, powerful tool for not just for capitalism, but like for our own well-being and for our humanity and for our sense of connection.
mm. That's really beautiful. I think you're right. Why is it when your darkest spot in your journaling that you're writing incredibly written journals, and then when you need to write something, it's like a dead end. It's like to me that says there's a vein there of gold that like I think you said it, like it's all connected. The depth, the reason there's depth to the writing is because there's depth to the person. The reason there's feeling and emotion in the writing, and the client's like, "Wow, this is I'm kind of tearing up over this lawnmower ad," is because the person is tearing up inside at the world or whatever. I think that's
Yeah.
exactly right on because I don't know about you, but like I don't know why you're crying in the bathroom, but for me, uh, sometimes feedback or even the aura of feedback. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but like feedback is coming.
Yeah.
Feedback's in the doc, and you see
Oh,
65, you see 65 at the top with a dot or something. And you go, okay. And it could just take me out, and it's not tying my work to who I am is just an ongoing thing. Maybe that's ego or I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's like why do I feel crushed because of this line I wrote didn't hit or
yeah.
whatever it is. What is it about that desire to? Because it's the opposite way too. Like it's cloud nine when it's right? Like you read that script and people are like, Nancy did it again. Like, like what this. It feels amazing. It's like, okay, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
It's both sides where yeah, you have to take care of yourself. You have to journaling works for me too, and also just going, it's happening, this thing that happens when I get in these situations, and that's totally normal, and I shouldn't freak out about it because I'm overanalyzing this thing, or I'm worried about this project for whatever reason. It's that's part of why it's going to be good at the end. Just it's like hang on, the ride's starting, but when it's over, it'll be good. I promise. Is it that type of thing?
I mean, it's a reminder of our humanity. What you said about the 65 comments bubble hit me so hard. I like strive like in my role as a creative director, like I can get in there and give feedback like this comma's in there. Like I will be like poop poop poop, maybe a little too in the weeds, but I try my best to make at least 10% of my comments kind of funny so that the people who get 60 comments from me are like, all right, there's going to be a gem in here somewhere. Like if I misread something, I'll be like, listen, I might be the dumbest person in the world, but I read that you wanted me to jog down the street and I don't think that I think you want me to remain in my desk and click. So, just like making fun of yourself a little bit because it is getting a whole shit ton of feedback, even if it's not mean, is just tedious as hell.
That's
And you have to, I mean, we can't hope for this from marketers, but I can hope for it from creative directors. Remember your audience at all times, and sometimes your audience is the poor, poor junior schmuck who's getting your 60 comments. You, little baby you. And there's
mm-hmm,
that moment of seeing so much and like trying to just build your system, being like, hey, I left a whole lot of comments. Long story short, overall it's amazing, and I tweaked a lot of commas, like don't be afraid.
mm-hmm,
Or getting back in there and being like, you know what? I think we're gonna do another round, but I left a lot of ideas. Just give somebody a
mm-hmm,
clue what they're walking
mm-hmm.
into because like the red number 65 is like enough to make me go take a walk.
That's yeah, that's a stop sign for a writer. I'm gonna get up. That's my stopping point. I'm gonna go look at a
Yeah.
waterfall. I'm
Yeah.
going to listen
Waterfall.
to the
Waterfall.
song Waterfalls. I'm going to do what I need to do, and then I'm gonna come back and sit down and I'm gonna go through these. I mean, I've been so happy the last two clients I've had have been so nice and supportive uh as far as doing that of going I think it's underrated. It's so underrated to go, I love this line. I like this. Oh, this is cool. Just
Yeah.
just because like feedback is oh, all the negative things you need to fix.
Yeah.
Sure. But like the people, it's like the people who think AI, it's like the people who um write the "this is great, I love this" more than once or even once at all in these docs are going to heaven. That's just what
They
it
are.
is. It's
They're
that's
going
what
to.
it is. Because I think they're saving us in a drowning of, oh, I don't know where this is at. Is this good? Am
Yeah.
I good? Is this working? Oh no, they hate me. Whatever thoughts we might have, it's like that's the life preserver of, oh, I'm not actually a bad writer because they like this. They like this thing.
If you're running a department, I think it's really important to tell your stakeholders this. Like positive feedback is every bit as informative. A, knowing what not to change is extremely, extremely helpful to the writer, but also it buys you so many karma points. Like I'm going to make sure in my next role, like just letting people know, like, please say what is working.
Hmm.
Because I think that's very valuable. And I used to do that. I used to overcorrect. I think every writer has overcorrected. And so I think just teaching stakeholders, like, not only do you win a friend for life, this writer will do anything for you for being the type of one that's like, I love this, I love this, I love this. It
Hmm.
also saves rework time to be like, these are the
Yes.
parts I really love.
Yes, this is good. Yes. Um, awesome. I think we're close to time. Did you have anything you want to talk about? Because I've been asking all the questions. Did you have any thoughts or anything outside of this that we didn't
I
talk about?
I've been running my mouth a lot. How do you feel about your new project? Is it bringing you joy?
At the beginning, it was bringing me panic of just overwhelming amounts of things that I had to condense and just looking at it like a wall of it's like the books in a lawyer's office, like the books behind them that it's like no one's actually open. It might just be wallpaper, like it might just be, they pull the book off and it's actually just this much of the book and it's one of those things. Like I was just staring at that amount of information and just going like, "Oh no, this one's gonna take me out." And it's ended up being such a amazing project for a few reasons. Just great client. It's putting the work's going to get made. Like it's going to transform. It's not like here's my brand voice and you're going to go, that was fun, trash it, or like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, we're going to use this. We'll talk to you later. It feels like they're really doing it and it's been valuable. So yeah,
that's
this one's been a good project and um, I'm excited. So yes, it's been good. But
awesome.
then as a freelancer, there's always, all right, what's next? Is there any other work out there?
Yeah,
Is What's going on? And that's the way you just get used to living, I guess.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, Zach, thank you. I know I talked shit on podcasts, but this has been a wonderful conversation.
but this isn't a podcast. I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a LinkedIn video.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay, right,
I'm not, there's no audio. This isn't on Spotify
right.
or iTunes. You
Not
can't get it on what's it, Deezer. This is this is not available anywhere except LinkedIn and also YouTube because it only does 15 minutes. But I'm not even pushing that. I'm literally like, I hope people watch this on LinkedIn and they hear some of the great advice and wonderful stories. And
Yeah,
that's it. I don't even want to make it a thing, I think. So thank you for giving it a shot because like we don't need more podcasts.
yeah, no. And I'm available if anybody wants to practice asking for more money.
Hire Nancy. Hire
No,
Nancy.
I just as a person, you can practice asking for more money. I don't have any money. I'll let you practice.
That's right. Reach out to Nancy. She, for a low fee, she will jump on Zoom with you, and she will help you get a 10x your current salary just in one conversation. And she's got a 1-800 number. We get your number in there too, and then people can call you day or night and get this chat. I like this. It's rebranding as sort of an influencer, maybe
Yeah, get paid. Get paid.
the Raise influencer,
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know. All right. Thanks, Nancy. Thank you so much for the time and good luck in your garden.
thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Zach. Thanks so much.